Hello and welcome back to BS Rugby. And although the Six Nations is taking a break this weekend ahead of round 4 and 5, there is plenty of URC action to get our teeth stuck into. There's plenty of games to look forward to, so here is my preview and my predictions for round 13 of the competition. Before we get into it, as always, if you do go on to enjoy the video, I'd massively appreciate it if you could like the video. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below and which games you're looking forward to most. And of course, hit that subscribe button and trying to hit 3,000 subs by the end of the Six Nations. With your help, we can do it. It's completely free to do. Plenty of games to look forward to, as I just said, so let's get straight into it. Starting off on Friday night at 25-8 over in Belfast. It sees Ulster taking on Cardiff Rugby. And we're going to be doing a watch-along for this game, so do join me live. I'll be live, as I said, from 7:20 p.m. You can join me here on BS Rugby to hear your thoughts on the game. Join in with a whole host of fans from all over the world as we watch this one together. There'll be a link in the description down below, in the I button above, and in the comments as well. Now, both teams have been announced. Before we do have a look at both teams, last week we saw Ulster get a win against the Dragons by 12 points to nil. It was pretty awful conditions, I've got to say, and one of the worst conditions I've seen in a long time. Ulster, though, managing in the end to have enough to get the win in that game. Cardiff were due to play Zebra, but if you remember correctly, there was a huge storm at the time, which saw Cardiff's game being postponed. So the game before that saw them, in fact, take on Leinster and win in dramatic style. Jared Evans getting the final kick of the game in that one, winning the game by 29 points to 27. Now, both teams have been announced. Let's run through them now. As always, let me know your thoughts on the teams in the comments down below. Starting at fullback, we got Stuart Moore at fullback with Rob Ballacoon, and we have Ben Moxham playing on the wing. Stuart McCluskey and James Hume are in the centre. James Hume released from the Irish camp. Billy Burns and Nathan Doak play at 10 and 9. In the front row, we got Andrew Warwick, John Andrew and Martin Moore, with Ian Henderson playing in the number 5 jersey and captaining the side, also released from the Irish team. Geordie Murphy, Marcus Ray and Nick Timoney play in the back row, leaving the bench of Stewart, Nilasarovic, Vermeulen, Madigan, McGrath, Carter, Cooney and Sexton. For Cardiff Rugby, they've also announced their team. This is how they line up. Hallam Amos plays at fullback with Owen Lane and Aled Summerhill on the wings. Ray Lilo is partnered alongside Willis Halaholo. This will be his first game back after injury. Jared Evans and Lloyd Williams play in the halfbacks. Within the front row, we've got Brad Thayer, Kirby Myhill and Dimitri Arhib. Josh Turnbull captains the team from 4 alongside Matthew Screech in the locks. And the back row of Ellis Jenkins, Josh Navidi and James Boatham. Leaving a bench of Kieran Asarati, Rhys Carey, Will Davis-King, Terry Williams, James Ratti, Jamie Hill, Ben Thomas and Matthew Morgan. Now, this could be a really exciting game because both teams love to play exciting and attacking rugby, and I'm really looking forward to it. Ulster have made the Kingspan a little bit of a fortress. But if you have a look at that Cardiff team, it's a strong side for sure, especially looking at the back row with the likes of Josh Navidi and Ellis Jenkins in there. Jared Evans has shown that he's got the bottle to control things from 10, but also get important kicks, as shown in that game against Leinster. And they'll come into this game with confidence, having beaten arguably the best team in the competition. The return of Halaholo as well is a huge thing for them as well. But again, Ulster are a team who have shown throughout the course of the competition that they're more than capable of competing at the top. Nathan Doak's a really exciting youngster coming through, able to play at 10 and 9. I've got a really good boot on him and has taken over that role over recent months. But we do see the return of John Cooney on the bench, returning from his injury. It's been a long time out. And that battle between him and Doak for that number 9 jersey over the coming months, it's going to be really interesting. It's really tough to call this one. I am going to back Ulster to win because they're at home, and I just think they're going to have a little bit too much. But I do think it's going to be an exciting game. As always, as I said at the start, I'm going to be doing a watch-on for this one live from 7:20 with kickoff at 7:25 British and Irish time. So do join me. Link in the description down below for that one. Moving on, we see Connot head over to the Dam Health Stadium up in Edinburgh as Edinburgh take on Connot in this fixture. Last time out for these two sides, well, first of all, Edinburgh headed over to Thomond Park to take on Munster, eventually losing this one by 20 points to 34, while Connot travelled to Parc y Scarlets and managed to beat the Scarlets by 29 points to 23. There are a lot of interesting refereeing decisions in that one, but Connot getting the win in that one. As always, as I said, both teams have been announced. Let's run through them now. This is how the home team line up. Starting at fullback, Imilum plays at fullback with Moyano, and Boffelli moves to the wing. Dean and Lang play in the centres, with Kinghorn playing at 10. He's been released by the Scottish national side. Henry Pyrgos plays at 9 and captains the team. In the front row, we have Venter. Dave Cherry will get his 50th appearance for the side in this one, alongside Williams. Phillips and Young play in the locks, with Muncaster, Boyle and Kunavula playing in the back row. Leaving the bench of McBurney, Corney, Atalifo, Campbell, Brown, Ben Velicott, also released from the Scottish camp, Van der Vault and Curry as well. In terms of the away side, this is how Connot line up for this one. John Porch plays at fullback with Peter Sullivan and Alex Wooten on the wings. Tom Daly and Sammy Arnold play in the centres. Jack Carty, released from the Irish squad, plays at 10 and captains the side, alongside Blade at 9. In the front row, we have Jordan Dugan, Dave Heffernan and Jack Onjay, with Osin Dowling playing alongside Lever Fafita. Kieran Prendergast, Conor Oliver and Paul Boyle on the back row. Leaving the bench of Shane Delahunt, Tiete Tumoga, Dominic Robertson McCoy, Neil Murray, Abraham Papali, Kieran Marmion's on the bench, Tom Farrell and Jared Butler as well. Once again, both teams really like to throw the ball about. The Edinburgh have been absolutely brilliant this season. They've been the entertainers of the league. Boffelli's been fantastic. Kinghorn at 10 has played really well, potentially answering that question of whether he can play in that position. Although we are doing the watch along for Scarlets, and also we will keep an eye out on this one and keep you up to date on the score during the course of the watch along. It's going to be a fascinating one, this one, but I am going to back Edinburgh to get a win here. I just think they're going to have a little bit too much at home, but don't count Connor out of it. They know they want to play. They know they want to throw the ball about. It could be an exciting one to watch for sure. Moving on to the next game, it's a Saturday lunchtime over in Italy as Benetton take on Leinster in this one. Benetton, of course, have been the surprise package of the league this year and also won the Rainbow Cup last year, while Leinster are continuing, as they usually do, winning games as they go. Now, in the last round, we saw some interesting fixtures for both teams. Let's take a look at how they did. First of all, then, looking at Leinster, Leinster got a 29-7 win over Ospreys at the RDS. James Lowe making his return in that game, getting a comfortable victory, while Benetton played out a pretty poor game up at Scotstoun, losing this one by 13 points to 3. Both teams have been announced. Let's take a look at how Benetton line up for this one. So starting at fullback, we had Andres Kotzer playing at fullback, with Lorenzo Pani and Rhino Smith playing on the wings. Filippo Drago and Joaquin Riera play in the centres, with Thomas Albonoz playing at 10 alongside Alessandro Galbisi. Playing in the front row, we have Federico Zani and Cornel Els alongside them, on Noel Tatas Chaparro. In the locks, we have Nicolo Plantea and Carl Wegner. And then in the back row, Matteo Maggiato, Lorenzo Canone, and Teo Halafihi has been released from the Italian camp. Starting then on the bench is Thomas Baravella, Matteo Drudi, Cherif Traore, Bram Stein, Alessandro Zecco, Luca Petrosi, Marco Zanon, and Luca Sperandio. Having a look at the away side, this is how they line up for this one. Jimmy O'Brien, who recently signed a new deal, is playing at fullback alongside Jordan Lam and Tommy O'Brien. Jamie Osborne and Harry Byrne play in the halfbacks. Harry Byrne obviously offering that double playmaker role at 12. Playing at 10 then is Ross Byrne, who's also signed a new deal alongside captain Luke McGrath at 9. In the front row, Peter Dooley, Sean Cronin and Thomas Clarkson. Ross Maloney and Joe McCarthy play in the locks. Rhys Ruddock, Scott Penny and Max Deegan on the back row. Leading in the bench are Tracy Byrne, Alan Latoa, Tony Levy, Foley O'Loughlin and Carney as well. I think this game is going to be a really, really tough one for Benetton. Again, they've had some good wins at home this year, notably against Edinburgh with the last kick of the game. But Leinster are a different animal. Having watched them over the course of the season, the speed of ball that they get, and that's been reflected very much in the national team now for Ireland. I just think Leinster are going to have way too much of their power, the dominance that they're going to have in this game. I think Leinster are going to win comfortably. I really do. I think Leinster will win by plus 20 points. They'll get the bonus point and they'll move on to the next game. As always, though, do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I know we got a few Italians watching, so make sure to let me know your predictions for this one in the comments down below. I'll be fascinated to hear your thoughts. Moving on to the next game of the weekend, then sees Scarlets take on Glasgow Warriors down at Pauca Scarlets. It's a 5:15 kickoff. And once again, we're going to be doing a watch along for this one, going live at 5 o'clock with kickoff, as I said, at 5:15. There'll be a link in the description down below and in the I button above. This should be a good one indeed. So do join me for this game. Now, if we have a look at how they've done over the last week or so in the last round, Scarlets, of course, took on Connot at home and really should have won that game with how many penalties they won and the red card situation as well. But they did end up losing this one by 23 points to 29. And we did just allude as well that Glasgow got a win against Benetton. It wasn't pretty, but the conditions weren't great. But they certainly got the win there, winning that one by 13 points to 3. Now, we know that Scarlets and Jordan Peele, we know the way that they want to play the game. We know they want to throw the ball about. But for whatever reason, it just hasn't clicked this season for them. And for Glasgow, again, they've got some really good players there and they've got some good youngsters coming through. They also want to throw the ball about. But has it fully clicked for them? I still think they can go to another level. But it's going to be a tough ask going to Parc y Scarlets. This is how both teams line up, though. Starting at fullback, Tom Rogers plays at fullback with Steph Evans and Ryan Combier playing on the wing. Scott Williams is the captain at 12 alongside Johnny Williams. That's an international partnership right there. Reece Patshaw plays at 10. Gareth Davis has been released from the Wales squad, so he plays at 9. In the front row, we've got Steph Thomas, Dav Hughes, and Javan Sebastian, who's released from the Scotland camp. Sam Lousy and Jack Price play in the locks with Blade Thompson, Dan Davis, and Sione Kalamafoni playing in the back row. Leaving the bench of Mark Jones, Kemsley, Matthias, Samson Lee, Alan Shingler, Carwyn Tupelotu, Dane Blacker, Sam Costello, and Joe Roberts as well. If we take a look at the Glasgow team, this is how they line up. Ollie Smith plays at fullback with Josh McKay playing on the wing alongside Cole Forbes. Sam Johnson is released from the Scotland camp and he plays alongside Kyle Stain in the centres with Duncan Weir and Jamie Doby playing as the halfbacks. Ollie Kebbell, Johnny Matthews and Simon Bergen are in the front row with Kieran McDonald and Rob Harley playing in the locks. Ryan Wilson is captain at 6 alongside Ali Miller and Jack Dempsey. Keep an eye out on Jack Dempsey. He's had a fantastic season so far. Leaving the bench of Fraser Brown, Murphy Walker, Ewan McQuillan, Richie Gray, Thomas Gordon, Jordan Lennox, Ross Thompson, and Stafford McDowell as well. As always, let me know your predictions for this one in the comments down below. I'm going to leave my predictions for this one for the watch along. As I said, make sure to join me for that live from 5 p.m. with kickoff at 5:15. Eager to have your company for that. We will also keep an eye out on the next game, which sees Munster take on Dragons. So do join me for that one as well. Looking forward to your company for that game. As I just said, the next game is Munster, who host the Dragons down at Thomond Park. Same time, kickoff at 5:15. Kickoff for this one. And as I just said, we'll keep an eye on it during the course of the watch long that we're doing for Scarlets and Glasgow. Last weekend, we saw Munster get a win against Edinburgh by 34 points to 20, where the Dragons lost at home, as I said before, in terrible conditions, losing against Ulster by 12 points to 0. Now, this is going to be a really tough ask for the Dragons. I mean, they've made some great signings ahead of next season. JJ Hanran, Bradley Robertson just signed a guy from Bath. Got Hodrick Jones coming over from the Ospreys. But it's going to be a real ask for them to go out to Ireland and to win against this Munster side. Let's have a look at both teams. Munster lineup looking like this. Starting at fullback, Mike Haley plays at fullback with Shane Daly and Simon Zebo playing on the wings. Dan Goggin plays alongside Chris Farrell in the centres with Jack Crowley and Craig Casey playing at 10 and 9. Casey released from the Irish squad. Playing then in the front row, we've got Josh Wycherley playing alongside Darmond Barron and John Ryan. John Klein plays alongside Phelan Wycherley. Jack O'Donoghue and Chris Clotes play in the 6 and 7 jersey with Gavin Coombs playing at 8. Leaving the bench of Niall Scannell, Jeremy Luffman, Stephen Archer, Alex Kendallen, John Houdnott, Nell Cronin, Ben Healy and Rory Scannell. The Dragons lineup are looking like this. Jordan Williams is back at fullback after an injury issues for him. Will Talbot plays on alongside Rio Dyer on the wings. And Aaron Owen and Jack Dixon play in the centres with Sam Davis and Rodri Williams playing at 10 and 9. In the front row, we have Greg Bateman, Taylor Davis and Chris Coleman. Joe Davis and Joe Maximu play in the locks with Harrison Kenny captaining the side from 6. Ollie Griffiths at 7 and Aaron Wainwright released from the Wales squad is straight back into the starting lineup. As always, let me know your thoughts on the team in the comments down below. How do I think this one is going to go? I think it's pretty comfortably going to be a Munster win. I'd be really surprised if this Dragons team could get anything away from Thomond Park. The Munster pack has been absolutely ferocious this season, enabling the back line to have that platform to really play. And Simon Zebo has just taken it back, has just come back like a duck to water, really picked up where he left off when he went over to Racing. I just think that Dragons have to try and get parity up front, and they've really struggled to do that this season. On paper, they've got some decent players there, but missing the internationals is really going to affect them. I think Munster are going to win here. They're going to get a bonus point. I think they could win by 15 to 20 on points. I think it is going to be pretty comfortable out in Thomond Park. The final game of the weekend then sees Ospreys take on Zebra at the Swansea.com Stadium. This game, of course, taken on the Sunday, and kickoff is in fact at 2 o'clock. Now, the Ospreys last week, of course, headed over to the RDS to take on Leinster, losing this one by 29 points to 7, while Zebra, they in fact didn't play last week, so they haven't played for a while, so we'll be eager to see how they go this week. Both teams once again have been announced. Let's take a look at how they look for this game. Ospreys line up like this, with Dan Evans at fullback, Keelan Giles and Luke Morgan on the wings, Kieran Williams and Michael Collins play in the centre, with Stephen Myler and Rhys Webb playing at 10 and 9. In the front row, we have Nicky Smith playing alongside Sam Parry and Tom Boter. Rhys Davis and Bradley Davis play in the logs. Rhys Davis just signed a new deal. Dan Lydiard, Morgan Morris at 7 and Ethan Roots at 8. Leaving the bench then Scott Baldwin, who's rejoined the region, Rodri Jones, Reece Henry, Will Griffiths, Harry Deeves, Ruben Morgan Williams, Tian Thomas Willier, and Matt Prothero, who's also signed a new deal. If we have a look at how Zebra line up, this is how they line up. Jacopo Trula plays at fullback, with Giovanni D'Onofrio playing on the wing alongside Asea Tuifaku. In the centres, we have Enrico Luchin and Enrique Conje, and that's 10 and 9 with Antonio Rizzi and Nicolo Casilio. And then in the front row, we have Paolo Buonfricolo, Massimo Celiano, Eduardo Bello, Liam Mitchell, Andrea Zabonin, Luca Andrea, Jacopo Bianca, and Renato Giamaioli. Now, as an Ospreys fan, this should be a very simple bonus point win. It really should be. But last season, we played against Zebra. I said at the start of the season that they weren't going to beat anyone, but last season, the only team they beat was Ospreys. They haven't won a game this year. They got rid of Michael Bradley, of course, early December. And those changes that you'd want to see from changing your coach midway through the season really hasn't come to the fore. They haven't particularly looked more competitive. They haven't particularly played much better, and they're still looking for their first win of the season. Now, if I was to say that this isn't a bonus point win for the Ospreys, I think I'd be a bit silly to say that, but I am very cautious that this could be a potential banana skin. But I am going to back the Ospreys to get the win. I think we'll have to break down the Zebra team a little bit, and eventually the tries will come. I think looking at our bench, we have the likes of Matt Prothero to come off the bench, who loves to run with the ball in hand, is very comfortable running at absolutely anybody. He doesn't hold anything back. And I think that he really will be a star of the show for this game. I think if we could just control the game with Myler and Webb, I think we will win this game pretty comfortably. So I'm going to back us to get a win. An Ospreys bonus point win. Let's hope I don't have egg on my face. So just before we go, don't forget, as always, for this watch long, first one is tonight as Cardiff take on Ulster at the King's Pan, live from 7:20, and kick off at 7:55. So link in the description for that one. And of course, tomorrow we'll do this game. We'll do it Scarlets against Glasgow, live from 5 p.m. with kickoff at 5:15. Be sure to join me for that. As always, if you have enjoyed, hit the like button, comment your predictions down below, whichever game you're looking forward to the most. And of course, hit that subscribe button. Lots of content still to come with the Six Nations and the URC, and of course, European rugby on its way as well. Thank you very much for watching. Take it easy, folks, and I will see you very soon here on BS Rugby. Peace.